Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Hall of Justice from Justice League. This is more centered upon the cartoon version of Justice League rather than the impending film, so whether there are differences between this and the actual one in the film, then I can't really account for that. This is the cartoon version. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. And of course, if you do enjoy the content, subscribe down below. But without any further ado, why don't I actually show you how to make this thing? Despite the fact that it looks hard, it's actually quite easy. So if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some block of quartz, some white concrete, light grey concrete, blue stained glass pane, block of gold, and some lime concrete. Now once you have all of that stuff, we can begin. So we're going to start off with a row of 3 block of quartz coming directly up from the ground. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. We then want to do an upright diagonal and go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. Do an upright diagonal, go up by 2, 1, 2. Do an upright diagonal, go up by 1. Do 3 upright diagonals, 1, 2, and 3. We then want to go right by 1. Do an upright diagonal, go right by 2, 1, 2. Do an upright diagonal, and then go right by 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We then want to do a bottom right diagonal. Go right by 2, 1, 2. Do a bottom right diagonal, right by 1. 3 bottom right diagonals, that's 1, 2, and 3. We then want to go down 1, do a bottom right diagonal, down 2, 1, 2. Do a bottom right diagonal. We then want to go down by 3, 1, 2, and 3, do a bottom right diagonal, and then connect down to the ground. And what you should have, once you have done all of that, should be this archway looking shape that looks exactly like this. Now, once you've got that sorted out, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to come back to the very first row of block of quartz that we placed, and we are going to go right of this very first block of quartz. We're going to leave a gap of 3 in the ground. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to leave a gap of 3. So that many blocks. And on top of this 4th block, we're going to go up by 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're then going to do an upper right diagonal, up by 2, 1, 2. Then an upper right diagonal, up by 1. 2 upper right diagonals, 1, 2. We're going to go right by 1, do an upright diagonal, and go right by 2, 1, 2. Do an upper right diagonal, and go right by 16. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We then want to do a bottom right diagonal, right by 2, 1, 2. Do a bottom right diagonal, right 1. 2 bottom right diagonals, 1 and 2. Go down 1. Do a bottom right diagonal, down by 2, 1, 2. Then do a bottom right diagonal, and you can then connect that down to the ground. So the shape that we're looking for should look exactly like this. And our next job is to fill in the inside of the shape using our white concrete. So to fill this in, you literally just want to take the empty space behind the 2 rows of quartz, and we want to fill it in using white concrete. So basically, you just want to take the empty space left in between the 2 rows of block of quartz, and you want to fill it in using white concrete. So this wants to be set 1 block backwards because it creates a nice level of depth. And besides the fact that this is quite a simple building to look at, there is actually quite a lot of depth, and it's quite interesting to look at despite the fact that it is a very simple design. It's basically just a big archway with a lot of columns in it, but using depth and using just varying tones of colors, you can really create a nice looking building with really not that much detail applied for as interesting as it might look. You guys will see what I'm talking about as we build layers and layers and layers on this building. You'll be able to see it change, and you'll be able to see how nice it does look once it is all put together. So far, we want to have the most boring rainbow in the world. So, once you got that sorted out, this is what we are going to do next. So, we want to come all the way down to the very bottom left-hand side of the build. And we want to take this row of block of quartz, this row of 5 that we placed earlier, and we want to go right of this row, and we want to place 2 blue stained glass going right. That's 1, 2. Then, place a white concrete. Then, 2 glass, 1, 2, white concrete. 2 glass, 1, 2, white concrete. 2 glass, 1, 2, then a white concrete. And you actually want to connect every white concrete upwards. So take every single white concrete upwards and connect it to the under part of the building. So under part, the grey rainbow, as I like to call it, connect it all up. Now, we want to take this last row of white concrete that we placed, we want to place a row of block of quartz directly in front of it. We then want to extend the row of block of quartz upwards. We want to extend it up until it is even with the top of the build, and then we want to take it and we want to extend it up 3 additional rows. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3, like that. We then want to extend it to the right by 2, 1, 2, and we want to connect it all the way down again. So we want to have a shape which should look, just to put this into context, which should look very much like that. Now, what we're now going to do is we are going to fill the center of this shape in using light grey concrete. It is going to sit 1 row behind what we've just made, 1 row behind, and we are going to delete any blocks that we have to so that we can fill it in using our light grey concrete. So we want to have something which should look like that, if that makes sense. That's looking pretty nice. So once you've done that, we now want to do a very similar thing on the right. So now if we come to the right hand side here, we want to take this row of 5 block of quartz, and going left of this we want to place 2 glass. That's going to be 1, 2. Then a white concrete, 2 glass, 1, 2, white concrete, 2 glass, 1, 2, white concrete, and a final time, 2 glass, 1 white concrete. Connect all of the white concretes upwards. So connect all of the white concretes upwards like this. There should be 4 of them in total, like that. We then want to take the most inward row of concrete and we want to place a row of block of quartz. We want to place a row of block of quartz coming up. And it wants to come up as high as the previous row of block of quartz. We want to raise it up 3 additional blocks. That's 1, 2, and 3. We want to extend it to the left by 2, 1, 2. And we want to connect it downwards, just as we did on the opposite side. And of course, what we then want to do is we want to fill the center of it in using light grey concrete. Now, you will have to come to the front again to make sure that you destroy any blocks associated with getting in the way. So this, and there we go. So we can come all the way up to the top like that. That's looking very nice. And we also have to do a couple more things. So you can see here up at the top of the build, we want to connect the 2 tops of these together. We want to place a row of block of quartz here and here. So you can see that it's just in front of the row of block of quartz that exists already. We want to place those 2 additional rows to connect them together. At the bottom of the build as well, we also want to count and we want to find the 3rd row. So that's the 1st row, 2nd and 3rd row. And we want to place a row of block of quartz that connects the left-hand side to the right-hand side, like that. We want to, behind our 2 quartz pillars, we want to place an additional row of block of quartz directly behind the pillars, coming all the way up to the top, like this. We want to place another row of block of quartz behind here. And we want to place blue stained glass pane coming inwards from the rows of block of quartz. So glass pane coming inwards from the rows of block of quartz. With another row of block of quartz coming inwards from the panes. So we want to have another row of quartz coming inwards from the panes, like this. And we want to fill the top of this in using blue stained glass pane also. So what we want to have should look exactly like... It wants to look like that, and it's looking quite nice as is. Now, once you've got that sorted out, this is what we're going to do next. We've actually done quite a lot of work, believe it or not. So, we want to take the row of block of quartz that we have here in the middle, just above the door. This is where the entrance is. And we want to extend this row of block of quartz across the front of the build. It wants to come all the way across the front of the build, and it wants to stop here. So to put this into perspective, you want to have this. And on the opposite side, you want the same thing also. So extend it all the way over to the right and connect down. You want to basically, in front of the rows of block of quartz and in front of the white concrete, you want to connect them down to the ground using your block of quartz, like this. So you want to extend them down to create an additional level of depth. And you want to do the same thing on the opposite side here, like this. Just connect them down. And on the very ends as well. And on the left hand side and right hand side, you just want to completely fill in the little area of space like here. Like you want to cover up this big chunk of white concrete, like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to, inside here, we're just going to fill in all of the rest of the empty space using our blue glass block. So we're going to fill in all of the empty space using our blue glass block. I'm going to extend the block of quartz one row inwards as well on top of the blue glass where there is the separation. So from the outside looking in, you have all of those spaces up above. These are just going to get filled in with blue stained glass block. You can use pane if you like, but I actually chose just to use glass pane on the center to make it different. That's the reason that I chose to do that. If you want to use pane throughout, or if you want to use glass block throughout, then that is your design choice, and well, that's up to you if you want to do that. But I myself, I quite like what I've got going on here, so up to you. Once again, last time I'll say up to you whether you want to do that or not, but you will end up, if you followed what I've done, you will end up with something that should look like that. And as you can see, it's already looking quite spectacular. Now, once you got that sorted out, this is what we're going to do next. Come all the way over to the very left-hand side of the building. You'll find that you have this row of block of quartz on the front left-hand corner. Well, if you move outwards diagonally to the left, we want to place a row of 20 block of quartz coming up from this very position here. We want to place a row of 20 coming up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And we want to take that 20th block. We want to extend it left by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to connect it down to the ground. But once you've done that, you want to take that 4th block again, and you want to extend it backwards by 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Across the back by 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to connect it back to where you first started. And you also want to take those corner blocks and you want to extend them down. So everywhere that you placed a 4 in your row of 4, you want to connect it down and create a nice solid pillar. What we then want to do is we want to place rows of light grey concrete in each one of the 4 corners of our pillar. So in each one of the 4 corners coming inwards diagonally, we want to place a light grey concrete. So you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Actually, do we want to use light grey concrete or do we want to use white concrete? I hope that I've not just made a design error here. I mean, you can use either one looking at it. It might even look better with light grey concrete, actually. Use either. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a choice. Either white concrete or light grey concrete. I actually want to see how it looks with light grey concrete, but it's a very simple change to swap over should you not like it. And I'm going to completely fill in the top of this as well using the light grey concrete. So I'm going to fill the top of this in. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to add a row of block of quartz. So this row of block of quartz wants to go all the way around the tower, and it wants to be 3 blocks away from the top and 3 blocks away from the bottom. So what that means is you want to take row number 1, 2, and 3, and you want to place a row of block of quartz that goes all the way around the tower, around the bottom. And if we come up to the top, you want to take 1, 2, 3. Actually, it's going to be 4, isn't it? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. We want to take 4, and you want to place a row of block of quartz going all the way around like this, because you want to have 2 rows of light grey concrete or white concrete showing. So what we want to have should look exactly like that. Looks quite nice and fancy. In the front of this, we're actually going to be placing a row of blue stained glass pane that is literally just in the front part. Except the pane actually wants to stop when you get to the top, and you want to have like the top bit that's like separated between the block of quartz. You want to have that filled in with light grey, and you want to have the rest of it filled in with glass. And the entire rest of the pillar can actually be filled in using the light grey. You only have to fill in pretty much just the left-hand side here, as the rest will be covered up. So basically, what you want to end up with should look very much like that. And if you do, I mean, you might be able to, I don't think you have to, but I am just going to fill this in, the right-hand side in using light grey as well. How do I like it in comparison to the white? I think I might have actually preferred the white, but I mean, it's a very similar feel. I might go with the white. I might change it in a little bit. But anyway, that is the first one, and we now have to do the same on the opposite side. So if we come to the opposite side, we take the front right-hand corner of the build, and if we move outwards diagonally to the right, and in this position, place 20 block of quartz coming up from the ground. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We then want to go right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to go back by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Across by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to connect back to the start. And we also want to connect the corners down to once again form the tower shape. So that should be here, coming up from the ground. Oh, I'm so glad that that worked. And we're going to connect this corner down as well, and we can start customizing the tower. The front towers are harder to make than the back towers, by the way. So once you got that sorted out, we're going to place the quartz block rows. From the ground, you want to find the third block, so that's 1, 2, 3, and you want to run rows of block of quartz going all the way around the base of the tower, like this. Just block of quartz going all the way around the base of the tower, like that. And at the top of the tower, we want to find the fourth block down, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you just want to go all the way around the top of the tower like this. Perfect. And we're going to add our light grey concrete rows all the way in each one of the 4 corners, as you guys can see me doing now. So all the way in each one of the 4 corners. Whoops. We want to add our rows of light grey concrete. It will take a little while to do, like this. And this corner also. Gonna connect it together at the top to fill in the empty space. And I'm going to fill in around the top of this using the light grey concrete also, just to fill in all of that space. So we just want to have something which should look like this. And then the front we're going to fill in using blue stained glass pane, but all of the other sides can pretty much just be filled in, either not filled in, like the left hand side and the right hand side, it's better to fill in, but you might be able to not fill in the back. We'll fill in any gaps that we need to later anyway. I think I can avoid filling in the back. So what we will end up with should look exactly like that. And that's looking pretty good. That's the hardest part, really, of the Hall of Justice complete. That's the front. The rest of this thing is just walls, to be honest with you. So let me show you. So come to the very left-hand side of your Hall of Justice. And you want to take the very bottom of your tower. So come to the side of the tower and come to the bottom. You want to move in diagonally from this particular corner of the tower. You want to move in diagonally, coming backwards. So this block right here. And you want to place a row of 25 block of quartz coming back. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We then want to place, coming bottom left diagonally this way, we want to place a row of 17 block of quartz coming up from this block. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And we're going to move that 17th block backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to connect it. And we're going to extend each one of the 4 corners down. We're going to extend them each down, and we're going to connect all of these to the ground, and subsequently we'll also be connecting everything together in a little bit. So we just want to have something which should look like this. So far, we just want to have something which should look like that, right? Well, we also want to take this block here on the front of the tower, this block, and we want to place a row of block of quartz coming forwards, connecting to the actual front left-hand tower. So we want to make a wall, pretty much, that looks like this. And now we're going to come to the opposite side of the build. So we're going to come to the opposite side and we're going to do the same thing. So on the opposite side here, we want to take this front right-hand tower, and we want to take this back corner, and we want to place diagonally, coming back from this position, a row of 25 block of quartz. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And we then want to, from this position, placing bottom right diagonally, right here, a row of 17 block of quartz coming up from the ground. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Extend that 17th block backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Across by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, connect it back. And we're going to connect each one of the corners down like this. Going to connect each one of the corners down, and we are going to create some solid pillars. And once we've done this, we will also connect each one of the pillars together and also to the front. So far, we want to have this. And on this tower here, we want to take this block specifically, you guys can see the one, and we want to connect it forwards like this. So just connect it forwards like that. There we go. So you can see we are going to be forming some very solid walls here. So once you got that sorted out, we're now going to come to the back of the Hall of Justice. And the way that we're going to connect this together is actually the same way that we kind of connected it to the front. We're going to take this block, coming inwards diagonally this block, and we're going to place a row of block of quartz coming from the 2 inside corners across. So from one side all the way over to the opposite side like this. It will connect diagonally to there. And if we come all the way to the top of the build, we want to take this block and we want to connect it to the opposite side. So you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's one side to the other. Very, very simple stuff. And you will have formed some solid boundaries, which is very, very important. Everyone needs boundaries. So that's what we have, right? Now, we're going to fill in the towers. So this is just the towers, right? We're going to fill in the towers using light grey concrete. And again, use white concrete if you like. I want to see how the light grey looks. And I want to compare them because I do wonder whether I would have preferred to use the white concrete instead. I wonder if that would have actually looked better. So I'm going to extend all of the light grey concrete upwards inside of the tower. It doesn't want to be where the block of quartz is. It does want to sit one row inside. There we go. And it wants to look similar-ish to the star. It wants to look like that, but with no glass, because it's simpler. We're going to do the same to the opposite tower, but what we're also going to do is we're going to use our white concrete, and we're going to fill in each wall of the Hall of Justice. So every single wall, this side, that side, the back side. How could you forget the back side? Each side we want to fill in using white concrete. And this row of white concrete, and by the way, fill in any gaps that you need to. Fill in each side of the Hall of Justice using white concrete, and the row of white concrete wants to sit simply one row inside of the block of quartz. So as you can see me doing now, I don't know if I want to fill in the entire wall. I might just do one wall. You want to fill in the entire wall using white concrete like this, and it does just want to sit one row inside. I actually don't know the fastest way to do this. I think if I didn't make any mistakes, I think that going up and down is actually a bit faster than going from side to side. But, oh well, whatever. Whichever's faster is actually preferable. And I'll just show you, this is the method. I'm sure that you guys would be able to apply this without me having to show you anyway. But you want to extend all of the sides across like this. And, well, I mean, it's very simple, it's very self-explanatory, and this is how you build up the walls. And this is the second last thing that we actually have to do to the Hall of Justice building, the building itself, before we move on to the very simple space out front, because I don't think that this place is complete without the gold statues. So we want to have something which should look like this. So once again, fill in any gaps that you might have to using white concrete like that you might be able to see around the build. But the towers will look like that, the walls will look like that, and that is exactly what I'm going to do to the back and to the left-hand side of the hall. So I'm going to do all of that, guys, and I'm going to be back once it's done, okay? So I'm going to do all of that, and I will be back once it's done. I'm not going to show it because it's going to take a long time. You'll be able to see what's been done once it's been done. Alright guys, so this is what it looks like once you have filled in all of the walls of the Hall of Justice, and you've also filled in both towers as well. Now, once you've got that sorted out, and pause the video if you do need some more time to work on that. And I imagine you do, because we've just jumped forward in time like 10 minutes. So pause the video if you are working on that, and once you've done it, you can now hit play and you can continue on with the rest of us. So the next job for us to do is this. We're going to take the two mini towers at the front of the build, and we're going to extend the towers backwards by 2 rows. We're going to take every single block of quartz, we're going to extend it backwards by 1 row, 2 row, and then we're going to connect that down to the white concrete just below. And we're going to do the same thing here. It's going to be 1, 2 rows, and then we're going to connect the corner blocks down to the ground to form nice little mini towers. And that looks a lot better than just the single row. But what we also want to do at the front of the build, this involves the white concrete. You can see, if we have a look at the front of the building, right? Or the back of the building, rather, you can see that we've got the row of white concrete that's like a big curve. Fill that block in. We're going to take the edge of the curve. So by edge of the curve, I mean this. I mean this part of the curve. We're going to take the end blocks here, all of this white concrete, and we're going to take all of this white concrete, all of it, you can see, just the end parts, because we don't have to limit our space. We want to take the end concrete like this. You'll be able to see it once I zoom out. You want to take those concretes and you want to extend them backwards. Now, once you've done that, and it will take a long time, by the way, you'll notice that you have holes on these positions. So you're going to also have to fill in this part here. So you'll have to fill this part in here, also using white concrete. So not only do you want to extend the outer row, but you're going to want to take the end parts. Once you've filled in, like once you've extended the outer row backwards, you also want to fill the tops of these parts in using white concrete. I'll show you in a bit. So I'm going to take every single row of white concrete that I've extended back so you can see the row. I'm going to connect it to here. It's going to take a long time, so I'm going to do that and I'm going to be back. I'm sorry to have to do this again, but I'm going to do that and I'll be back in a moment. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the top of the Hall of Justice looks like once it's been completely filled in with white concrete. That is quite a process. It will take you quite a while, so I do imagine you're still working on it. Please do remember that on the edges, you're going to, once you've connected it down, you'll have some holes on the edges. Simply fill those in using the white concrete. You'll be able to see where I filled it in on mine, and that will mean that that is not visible from the front, whereas if you fill it in higher, like because of the shape of the hole, then you need it to be like a dome and then flat. You guys can see why I've done that. Anyway, once you've done that, and please do pause the video. I know that you guys will still be doing that. It's a long process. Once you guys have done that though, we can continue on. So pause the video, press play once you've done it, and this is what we're going to do next. So, the last component to the Hall of Justice is a nice big pool in front of the hall, and it has a statue in it. Let me show you. So, we're going to take the front of the hall, and we're going to have a pool that is as wide as this, from this window on the right, the last window on the right, to the last window on the left. And the pool is going to be situated 8 rows in front of the hall. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this 9th block is where we're going to begin. And like I said, it's going to be from one window, so that one window, and we're going to dig into the ground and we're going to extend it across, and it is going to go as far as this opposite window over here, so as wide as that. And I'm thinking maybe, you know what I'm going to do actually? I'm going to make the edge of the pool out of quartz slab, because I think it might look nicer this way, I think. I'm not sure if it will, but I'm going to try it anyway. And the pool is going to be 20 blocks, like it's going to come 20 blocks in front of itself. So we're going to take the edges and we're going to go back by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's count that out again, shall we? Let's give that another go. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20. And then we're going to extend that 20th block all the way over to this opposite side here, and we will connect it back once we have actually, once we've reached that. So we can now connect it back like this. And what we're going to do once we have our pool, and this is a bit of a tricky part, right? So once you've got that sorted out, we're going to place the feature in the center of the pool. It's like a nice sort of fountain statue sort of thing. It is in the very center of the pool. It's going to be kind of hard to find, but it is easier if you find the front of the Hall of Justice where the entrance is, and you trace it. So if you trace that front where the entrance is, you can roughly figure out where the middle of your pool is. I would say that it is this block, if I had to say. I would say that the middle of my pool is here. I think that looks like the middle. That is the best way that I personally would just eyeball it. Somewhere around the center would look good. And we're going to take the very middle of the pool, and we're going to place a row of... We're going to place a row of 6 gold coming up from the ground. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to take the bottom blocks. We're going to take each one of them, the 2, and we're going to extend them out in every direction. So the 2 blocks at the bottom of this, we're going to extend them out in every direction. We'll then take the upper blocks and we'll extend them out one more block as well. So we've created this shape, and we will take those outer blocks that we extended and extend them up each by 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we want to have that sort of shape. Very simple, very easy. And we also want to create a bit of a shape around the bottom of this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dig out the bottom blocks around our statue. We're going to dig out the bottom blocks around our statue like this. And then we're going to do that one more time. We're going to then kind of like connect more together. We're going to just dig out and we're going to create like a nice star shape. And this star shape we're actually going to fill in using our... we'll use block of quartz for this. You can use any white block or maybe even like your grey or whatever you want to use. But block of quartz looks quite good like this. I think this is going to work out quite nicely. There we go. And that is the statue. Now, there's a couple more things to do. You don't have to do any of these if you don't want to, but I would highly suggest it. I'm going to dig out the pool, and I'm going to place water in there. As you might guess, I'll dig out the entire center of the pool. I'm going to place water in there. So this will all be water. I'm going to add a path going in front of the Hall of Justice. This path is going to be as wide as the hall itself. So I'm going to make a path. I actually started one row inwards. Damn. So here, I'm going to have a path that comes all the way across the Hall of Justice. It's going to be 3 blocks wide, made out of light grey concrete, and I'm going to fill in all of the rest of the space with artificial grass in the form of lime concrete to keep it nice and cartoony. Now, I'm going to do all of that once again. I'm sorry to have to do this off recording because it's going to take a long time. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to do all of that, and then I'll be back once I'm finished, and I'll show you guys how the finished product looks. But we are done pretty much. We've just got to do those small landscaping things, the water, the grass, and the path, and I'll be back once I've done all of that. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have completely filled in the pool. We have destroyed it all. We filled it with water. We've even added a white concrete backdrop to it. We have added a path out in front of the Hall of Justice. We've destroyed underneath all of the windows. We've added some white concrete in there. We have grass absolutely everywhere else coming up as far as the pool. On the inside of the hall, I've also added some blue concrete behind the windows to give a stronger blue vibe. It looks really good like this. It'll take you a long time to do precisely what I've just done. I think it's taken me like 20 minutes or something. So, you know, it will take a while to add those finishing touches, but it does depend on what you want to do. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm sure that you'll be able to replicate what I've done. I've filled in the pool and I've added a path and some grass. I'm sure you guys will manage that, no problem. So if you guys have enjoyed the video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. I really would. If you like the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you subscribe, click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And on top of all of those things, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next. I'd be very interested to see what you guys want to see. And once you have told me what you want to see, if you do want to check out more of my stuff, by the way, I do a lot of cartoon and movie and stuff like that related builds. Please check out the card system description below. This is kind of like a cartoon corner. Over there we have like, I do believe that that's like Horrid Henry's house. We have the regular house, Ash Ketchum Pokemon. We have the Mystery Shack, Stark Tower, of course, in the background. We have Paw Patrol. We have Rick and Morty. We have a whole slew of cartoon and movie related builds I'm sure you guys would like. Cartoon builds playlist. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please do all those things. I'd really appreciate it. Have a nice day, guys. I'll see you in the next video.